Hello, I'm Jim Martin, and welcome to this week's segment of Call the Wild. Today I'm with a special guest, Harlan Starr, who's the owner of Chattokee Lodge here in Northeast Alabama. It is one of the most awesome lodges you'll ever see. I mean, I spent the last weekend here with my son doing some duck hunting, and it was fantastic. But also, everywhere we went, we saw turkeys. Turkeys in the trees, turkeys in the fields, turkeys everywhere. And of course, I was drooling over that. But Harlan also has an affiliation with the National Wild Turkey Federation. Harlan, it's great to see you.
Great to see you. Great to have you here, Jim.
Oh, man. Tell us a little bit about your affiliation with the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Well, I've been involved with the NWTF for over 20 years. Currently, I'm a national board member, running for re-election this year. And it's just been a part of my life. Turkey hunting with me, like you, is a passion of mine, and I try to spend every morning I can in the spring woods.
I'll tell you, I don't blame you. I'm real envious. There's nothing I like better than waking up every morning to a turkey gobbling. Well, listen, I understand you had a 100% success rate this year, last season of turkey season, except maybe the last hunter who missed one.
Last two guys that were here had opportunities, but sometimes the shot doesn't go where it's supposed to.
Well, we got to hear, what is the secret? 100%. That's unbelievable. We're talking Alabama eastern birds now. These are the hardest turkeys there are to kill in the world. What is the tips of your success?
Our biggest reason for success, Jim, is limiting pressure. Yeah. We don't bring 100 hunters in here a season. Right. We limit our hunts to the maximum of 4 hunters a week, and we hunt no more than 3 days.
Wow.
And so we hunt here on where the lodge is, but we have numerous other properties. And so limiting pressure is definitely the reason we have such high successes.
Well, that's awesome. I tell you, it's 100% is unbelievable. If y'all have ever heard of eastern turkeys, man, they're the toughest. Well, that's great. Well, what about some of your calling techniques? You know, Call the Wild, what we're about is communicating with wild creatures, and that's what the Call the Wild segment's about. So why don't you give us some of your calling techniques?
Well, I'm not a professional caller. I'm not a competition caller.
You sound pretty good to me. I've heard you.
Well, I do a lot of cutting and soft yelping, and basically,
All right, well, we're in the woods. We just heard one gobble. We're set up on it.
Okay.
Now what do you do? What do you like
If I can get him to respond to me one time and he answers back,
okay,
and then I'll cut him back off and he answers back, I spit my call as far as I can spit it. Because that way I know he's interested, and the more I feel like that I let him know where I am, he's expecting me to come to him.
Okay.
So I want him to come to me, and I want his curiosity to get built up and to come looking for me. And then you shoot him. So.
Well, I want to learn some of these 100% calls.
Well, I've heard you call too, Jim, and I'm no match with your calling skills. But I've been turkey hunting for 30 years, absolutely, so I've learned a few tricks. So,
all right, well, let's hear your this is the call, the most effective call.
Well, I don't know if it's most effective, but I run a series of yelps, and then I like to cut and cackle and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's all turkey there, Harlan.
Well, I don't know about that. But anyway, I've been doing it for 30 years. I hope I can get close to it. Anyway.
No, that sounds just like him, let me tell you. Well, let's hammer one time right here. Let's give what's kind of a little shuffle here. This is what I like to do. I like to do multiple calls. My brother and I hunt a lot together, and he's a really good caller as well. And we like to, spread out and sound like 3 or 4, 5 turkeys at one time. So why don't we hammer them one time with some little cutting and just, now this is what I like to do, prospecting. If you're out in the, mid-morning, nothing's happening, you're trying to find a gobbling turkey, this is what my brother and I do. And if he sounds like this, and it's pretty good, then you're going to have some success. So this is kind of what we do. And just do a little cut, and then we just cut them off.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Boom. That's awesome. Well, Harlan, I thank you so much for being on the show. We surely enjoyed it.
Thank you, Jim.
Man, let me tell you what.
Glad to have you here.
Chattokee Lodge is awesome. Man, there's a game everywhere. Everywhere we go, we see games. So book a hunt with Harlan Starr. You won't forget it. It's the most incredible lodge you'll ever stay in, I guarantee you. Well, I'm Jim Martin with Call the Wild. We're going to see you soon.